please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hello and welcome to this special update. Almost a week after the 11,400 crore rupee fraud at the Punjab National Bank came to light, the Finance Minister has responded. Speaking at an event in Delhi, Arun Jaitley held the management of the bank, the auditors and the RBI responsible for the fraud allegedly perpetrated by Nirav Modi and his companies. Finance Minister also said unethical behavior of some borrowers is posing a new challenge to the banking system.
Any such system of banking really functions on trust. And that trust is inherent in the lender-creditor relationship. I think that relationship in India blurred itself out where a section, not so ethical a section, perhaps thought that it was not his responsibility to pay back. And therefore, we had to come back with hard solutions. And today, when we look at the emerging situation, even if these are stray cases, they throw up several important questions. They throw up, the first important question is, with regard to the lack of ethics that a section of Indian business follows. And therefore, it is incumbent on us as a state till the last legitimate capacity of the state to really chase these people to the last possible conclusion to make sure that the country is not cheated. The second question which arises is, when a society has invested so heavily in its banking system, when the taxpayers have invested so heavily into the banking system, and we really, and I remember, I think Mr. Jain himself was there, where the Prime Minister at the Gyan Sangam himself announced that we want you to be autonomous. None of us is going to call you up. And therefore, take your own decisions. When authority is given to the managements, you are expected to utilize that authority effectively and in the right manner. And therefore, a question for the managements itself is, were they found lacking? And on the face of it, the answer seems to be, yes, they were. They were found also lacking in being able to check who amongst them were the delinquents itself. The third important question is, which is addressed to our friends in the profession, what are our auditors doing? If both internal and external auditors really have looked the other way or failed to detect, then I am sure the profession of chartered accountants itself and those who control the discipline of that profession itself will start introspecting and seeing what are the legitimate actions which are to be taken. And of course, there is also an important challenge where the supervisory agencies have now to introspect as to what are the additional mechanisms they have to put into place to make sure that stray cases don't become a pattern again. And stray cases itself are nipped in the bud, and an example is made of those people that these bad examples itself are never to be repeated once again. I say this because these kind of developments have a cost to the country and a cost to the taxpayer.
Hello and welcome to this special show coming to you from the NASSCOM Leadership Forum. I'm Nitya Balakrishnan and with me is Kritika Saxena. Clearly the highlight of day 2 was the strategic guidance review issued by NASSCOM, which indicates on face value, Kritika, that FY19 is going to be slightly better than FY18.
Oh yes, Nitya, look at the numbers. For FY18 they came in at 7.8%, which they released today. For FY19 they're expecting 7 to 8%, but as far as jobs is concerned, the net hire will be 100,000, which is absolutely flat when compared to FY18. Listen in to what NASSCOM had to say for this. 7 to 9%, very clearly signaling that FY19 looks like, at least to be slightly better than FY18. What gives you that confidence?
You see, first is if you look at the macro picture, then we are seeing an uptick in the global economy at a global level, in the US, in Europe, and many of our key markets as well. That is one key indicator, because usually that translates into better business opportunities. The second is, if you look at all the forecasts of technology spend, that is also in sync. Because whether you look at Gartner, Forrester, all the people who track these trends, not only are those positive, but they have been revised several times, because they are revised on a quarterly basis. And the prognosis has always shifted upwards, which means that even those estimates are being revised upwards. All of this means that there is very strong reason and ground for optimism. At the same time, it's also clear that an economic upswing in terms of higher GDP growth or higher technology spend does not immediately translate into business opportunities. There is a little bit of a lag, and that is what we have also factored in the analysis that we have made.
So we see this in the RFIs and RFPs that are coming. As Shekhar said,
in terms of new orders and new deals?
Yes, there is a lag, and we brought out very clearly that we see that upswing coming in the second half of next year, because for this to translate into business, the optimism that we are seeing globally, it was very evident in Davos. The optimism we are seeing in the Indian growth rate, there is a lag time, and we are factoring in that lag in the latter part of the year.
Speaking about hiring, 100,000 was the amount that you got about in FY18. You're looking at the same number in FY19. Is that the trend that is likely to continue with the delinearity in revenue and employee? And what would you say to people who may be wary of the fact that jobs or additional jobs are gradually decreasing?
So 100,000 by this industry is the net new increase. A lot of losses that happen, a lot of attrition that happens in this industry is being hired by companies that have to digitize. All the digitization impact, where we are saying is growing at twice the rate at which this industry is going or more, is consuming those people. So the IT professionals being employed is much larger than the 100,000 number.
Now that was NASSCOM's rationale, but we also spoke to a few mid-cap IT companies, including the likes of Mindtree, NIIT and Science, and all three believe that 7 to 9% is a realistic target, and they will be able to cross it in FY19.
We're talking about 7-odd% range that they've given us. It was 7 to 8 last year, 7 to 9 this year, Mr. Thakur. Do you think that we're definitely going to see better growth than we did in FY18?
Well, as you can see that the range has expanded from 7 to 8 to 7 to 9. So definitely it's going to be a better year. As you know that the industry is in a state of transition. The traditional service lines are giving way to new digital service lines. And I think the pivot is happening during this period. And that's the reason why we expect a better year next year.
Well, domestic growth is also forecast at 10 to 12%. And are you confident of achieving that target as far as domestic growth is concerned on the whole as a sector?
I think we are seeing significant traction in the domestic market, particularly with all the support and push that we're getting from the government in driving digitization in the country. And the government is also very keen to implement inclusive growth.
Absolutely.
And so all this is leading to a favorable position as far as technology adoption is concerned in the country.
Mr. Thakur, if we talk about NIIT Tech, Q3 you did see 21% growth in profits. What's the outlook for Q4 like, really?
So we've seen steady margin improvement in our business, and that's again coming on the back of a larger proportion of digital business in our revenue mix. Our digital revenues grew 10% sequentially in the last quarter.
Yes.
And so, we expect to continue to see that trend going forward as well. So we have also in fact guided on a better operating margin in Q4 as compared to Q3.
Absolutely, 17.1 in Q3, you're expecting that to improve as well. And BFSI was a sector that worked really well for you, the vertical. So you expect strong growth in BFSI, and what other verticals are you bullish on?
That's right. So I think in BFSI there are two elements. There's BFS and I. So I, which is insurance, has been traditionally very strong for us. But where we have seen good traction has been on the digital services and solutions that we're providing to the BFS segment. So that's a very specialized area in which we've been focused on, which has seen tremendous growth. And that's the reason why that's a strong vertical for us.
I have with me Ravanan from Mindtree. Rastav, thank you so much for speaking to us. There's a lot of buzz over here. There's a lot of excitement. NASSCOM just released a strategic review and they project a growth of 7 to 9% for FY19, which essentially means that FY19 will be better than FY18. Is that the case for Mindtree as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think we are ending 2018 on a very, very positive note. You've seen our results for the last couple of quarters, both in terms of order wins and in terms of some of the new projects we are delivering to customers is very, very strong. So we also agree that 2019 will be a better year. Will be a better year.
Okay. 7 to 9%, will Mindtree be able to cross that? You have been crossing industry. I know you don't give guidance specifically, but you have been crossing industry average growth rates, which it would be 7 to 9%. Would you be able to cross that? Would that be the aspiration?
Oh, absolutely. So our aspiration is to grow faster than industry, and like you said, we've been living up to that expectation over the last few years. And if all goes well, hopefully we should do better than 7 to 9 next year also.
For FY19. For
right.
FY18, you will be growing above 7.8%, correct?
Correct. So we'll go higher than 7.8% for this year as well. So hopefully, our good fortune will continue, and we'll do better than the industry next year as well.
Okay. Rasa, I want to understand your target for digital. We've heard a lot of people now over here talk about how, from blockchain and AI to data analytics, there is an active influx of large deals coming in from the digital space.
That's true.
Would you look at, perhaps looking at increasing your target as far as the digital revenue base is concerned over a period of 3 years?
Oh, completely. I think our growth in digital is always almost 2x the growth of Mindtree. And if you look at March 2017, Mindtree grew 9.5%, but our digital business grew about 18%. So our digital business is growing significantly larger than the rest of Mindtree.
7 to 9% is the kind of export revenues growth forecast that they have for FY19. Do you think that the sector will meet it, beat it? What is your outlook?
I believe that it's a very conservative estimate at this point of time. They'll certainly meet those numbers because there's, I think, fairly large amount of upside still to capture, which is unfolding at this point of time. There are new technologies which have come in, and people are now at this point of time trying to feel the technology. We don't know how the uptake would be with the customers. There's demand from the customers, all right, but that's not crystallized as of now. But as we progress into the year, I think a lot more will happen. So my belief is these are very realistic or pragmatic numbers, but there's sizable amount of upside to capture thereafter.
If I can throw the spotlight on Cyient, you did see, significant performance in Q3. Margins beat the street expectations. Are you expecting that uptick in margin growth to continue for the rest of the year?
Well, we're in the middle of the quarter. I need to be very careful in what I see. Absolutely. I think the momentum continues to be there in business at this point of time. We're seeing good amount of traction from our customers. And we've also been in a position to get more service offerings into play. The fact that a services company now has an incubation center. Last week we ran a drone hackathon in our facility. Some of these initiatives are certainly helping us in terms of showcasing to our customers our ability to demonstrate technologies to them which could be useful to them. So therefore, I think the momentum as far as Cyient is concerned is in a very positive terrain.
Absolutely. 6 out of 8 verticals, in fact, in Q3 we did see double-digit growth. So what are the verticals that are going to click for you in FY19 then?
I think all the 8 verticals are good for us. Our aerospace is doing well. That's the largest vertical for us. Our smallest vertical is medical electronics and healthcare. We are very upbeat on that too, because that is where I think there is tremendous amount of opportunity that lies.
On that note, it's time to slip into a quick breather right here on the special show. But when we come back, we throw the spotlight onto artificial intelligence. David Hansen, the creator of Sophia, and Coursera's co-founder Andrew on the other side.